You're good. All right, so before you ever try to fix something in your golf swing, don't just fix the swing. Like, you got to understand what the ball's doing, then what is the club doing to cause that, then what are you doing to cause the club to do what it's doing. So anytime you change something, it doesn't just change that one thing, it changes multiple things. So one of the cool things about the PGA is in your teaching and coaching stuff, you have to say, okay, I fixed this because of this, this, and this. So when we look at, go to number 2 or number 5. Either of those is fine because they're the same shot. All right, so we're hit. All right, so our impact height is 11. So we know that's above center, so we know we hit it fat. Then we have club path is to the right, positive. So any positive numbers are to the right of that dashed line. And the club face is also to the right of that dashed line. Now, which one is more to the right? Club path, right? So club path is more to the right than the club face is, all right? So this should produce a draw, which it does, right? As long as the club face is less to the right than the path, the ball will turn to the left. If they're the same amount to the right, the ball will fly straight with no curve. So this could be 10 to the right, and that's 10 to the right. That ball will start right and just stay straight. Won't have any shape to it, okay? So, and if these are both negative, if they're the same amount negative, the ball will start left and fly straight. Y'all tracking with me there? Okay. And so if this number is more positive than this one, then the ball will start right, curve to the right. Okay? So that's what this number is essentially telling us, is this, should this curve left or right? So this ball should curve to the left, and you hit it on the toe. So club path and club face. So the path of the club, hand me your club there. The path of the club is the entire club itself at the moment of contact. Which direction is it moving? Notice I've taken the club head away. All right, the club face is, imagine there's no shaft on the club. Where's the face oriented at the moment of contact? So basics there are, if the path is to the right, club face is to the left of that path, that ball should start somewhat to the right and curve to the left depending on the severity. Now the bigger the difference between the path and the face, the bigger the curve. Y'all tracking with me there? So if this were like 9, that's going to be a lot of curve. If this were like negative 0.5, it's probably not going to curve much. Okay? So the bigger that differential, the more curve you're going to have. Now, that's the path and the face. And the third one was what? What did I say we're going to work on the third one? Where the low point is. So you got path face, and then you've got where the low point of the swing is. So in a golf swing, it's essentially a tilted arc. It's more like an ellipse, right? So it's more like this. It's not a perfect circle, all right? So the low point of that golf swing was back here, and it was closer to us. So that's functionally what's happening with the golf club. So when somebody hits it fat, the simplest thing is that the low point of the golf swing is back here. Now, why is it back there? It could be 1,000 different things, okay? So, and depending on which thing you see, which one's going to get it changed the fastest, and which one keeps some of those numbers good and others not so good. So if I were to ask you, what kind of shot do you want to hit?
Somewhere on the green.
Okay, what kind of shot shape do you want it to hit? Okay, so you like to hit a draw, you see a draw, you're comfortable with a draw.
Yes.
When you play a draw, do you miss more by pushing it to the right with no curve or more hooks?
Push, definitely push.
More push. Which one bothers you more, the big hook or a push?
Push.
Okay, so it would be okay then by you if we were to improve the path number and move this more to the left. Now, if you had said, I'm afraid of the hook, then I wouldn't necessarily deal with this number as much as I would with the club face number, because you're not as bothered by the hook, so I'm not going to chase that yet. Okay? So I want to get that ball start to the right. So we're going to get your low point more forward. Zach, you have the camera back there. Bring it around to actually look at the golf swing itself. So that's what the club is doing. So we've got to move the low point more forward. Now, inherently when you move the low point more forward on a golf swing, so let's say we were to move the golf ball more back, other numbers on there are going to change. So, all right, he's hitting it fat. What would be the easiest thing to do? I'd move the golf ball further back in my stance. I could do that with my setup. That would be an option, okay? Now, that might allow his errors to stay there, but it might also make him work immediately. You could go play with it. So the problem with that is, what was his concern? What's his miss that he's afraid of? You don't answer. Big push to the right, okay? So if I move my low point, I'll use the big noodle this time. If I move my low point more forward, where is that on the arc? So imagine the club's coming down this way, right? We're hitting it fat back here. If I move this low point more forward, is that going to make what else is that going to change? Where's that ball going to start? Say that again?
Low. Well, the ball's going to start more right, isn't it?
That's correct. The ball's going to start more right. So hand me your club real quick. Erica, can you hold this right here for me, please? You can come around my side. I'm probably not. It's easier to hold it there. So Erica's going to hold that down there on an angle like it's a golf club, right? So we hit it fat at first, so move that low point back for me. So that club, if we put it perpendicular to that arc, right, when it gets over here, that club's looking where? Left. And where is it traveling? If we're looking straight overhead on the arc is traveling left. So when we move the ball back, we effectively make it go more to the right. Now, what's the shot he's afraid of hitting? A push to the right. So moving the ball back, would that be a good option or a bad option? Given the information that we have, that would be a bad option, right? So moving the ball back is not an effective strategy. So we've got to find another way to do it. Now, we're going to take a look at his video. You're good there, Erica. You can hold that again. We'll take a look at your video. All right. Let's go. I'm not even going to put lines on the screen. Just come here and take a look at this. All of you can come over here and look. It's fine. We'll make sure Erica and Zach are the closest. All right, so I'm going to look for things that will allow me to make the path move more to the left and eliminate pushes to the right. So as we take the club back to start, the first thing I'm going to see as an indicator is his right knee straightens. Now, the club itself is traveling back on a pretty good angle, so when it's halfway back, I'd like to see the club head in line with the hands and the club face parallel to the spine angle. We're pretty close to that. For the numbers that are up there, we're doing pretty good. Now, as this right knee straightens, I'm going to expect that right knee when it comes back down to go like this. Right, so y'all can see what that would do to the shaft, right? So if I make my knee from the top, right, so if I go this way, and my knee goes like this, where'd that shaft go? It went this way, which means this end's pointed in which direction? More where? More right, okay? So that's what I see as his concern is right. So knowing what the student wants, my first job is to fix their problem. I hit it fat all the time. All right, let's fix fat. I top it all the time. Let's fix that. I hit it on the heel all the time. I shank it. Let's fix that. But I got to first go ball, then club, then what are they doing? So we got to look for those variables. So that would be one option. Sure enough, that club's going to drop too far back this way. And the club face is actually going to be open here. Hard to see it, but in this frame, that club face is laying back this way. So that club face is going to be open, and we're going to have to last minute. Now this ball should go right, but it doesn't. So that means he's able to make some sort of manipulation compensation to make sure it doesn't go to the right. Not always though, because your concern is right. Of course it should be, your concern should be right because that club face is open. Now, not only does the shaft point in that direction when I do that, what does the club face do? Sorry, I'm just going to hold on to this. How's that sound? Okay. So the club face, when my knee goes from straight to this way, what does that club face do? We take it from here, That would be more closed, that would be more open, right? So if I go like this, club face goes where? More right. So we've got right and right. Okay, so you got two right pieces. Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to it. We're gonna hold on to it. You almost look like you're holding a club right now. All right, so we're gonna come down. Now I've got some left pieces in there. You see the left glute is back. Right forearm is lower than the left at impact, which is great. Love that position. The right elbow is more to his side, not as much in front of his body this way, which would get it more left. Now we should see a lot of face rotation going through the golf ball. Hard to see on camera here, but we have more of what we call a horizontal release, less of a rolling release, which is fine. I'm going to keep the horizontal release because the club face on your two good ones is fairly square, but we've got to get that ball hit more in the center of the face. So most everybody obsesses with this view of the golf swing. Club's pretty much on plane, it's a little low. Club face is on the plane here. Yeah, there we go. So on a, what we call a rolling release, I would see this club face look like this, where it matches the shaft. Do that way so that you have over there can see it. I would see the club face match that, but the club face is more this way. So that's an indicator we have this type of release. All right, it's totally fine to have this type of release. You've all been told, I'm trying not to throw it, trying not to flick it with my wrists. Like, is there more power in this? Or is there more power in this? That'd be holding the angle, right? There's way more power there than there is here. So it's okay to have a throwing release, all right? So that gives me one indicator, but that's only one view of the golf swing. It's a three-dimensional component. This is just 2D. So let's go this view, all right? Now, generally speaking, the low point of the golf swing will happen when the club shaft is vertical to the ground. So I've got to look from this view, what things are creating a low point that's back here. We're starting the weight staying right center. Let's see what the head moves. This is without any lines. Which way is his head moving? Right, pelvis is moving forward. You sound like your wedges.
Sure does.
Okay, so this is why I can tell you, like I said to you earlier, was like, you sure my irons look like that? Yeah, they do. All right, we're creatures of habit. Okay, your pattern, it's very rare for somebody to have a movement in their wedges that's different than the movement in their driver. We're just creatures of habit. We're going to have the same pattern. Now, how it manifests itself may be different. That head's moving fractionally this way, even though the pelvis is moving that way. Now, the question is, why is the pelvis moving that far forward? So then I have to ask which one's going first. This is where teaching gets really tricky. So could we just try to keep your head more forward? Would that be an option? Yeah, it logically fits, right? So, but the problem is if I keep my head more forward, we're back to this scenario, right? Erica, do that one more time. We're back to this scenario where she sets that down. His low point before was back here. Now if we just move his head forward, now all we've done is move his low point. Go ahead and move that forward. We moved it more forward, which now the ball's still to the right. So we have a dilemma, right? So fixing the head won't necessarily do it. So how do we get the club to go more around this way? Now, let me ask this question too. So Erica, you stay where you're at there. If I let my hips shift forward and I let the head go more forward, everything is shifting towards the target, right? As the pelvis slides forward, does that promote more of a rightward path or more of a leftward path? Rightward. So all these people that are over the top, most of them are trying to turn. Why is that a problem if you're trying to turn? If we try to turn, then here's what happens. If we try to rotate, then we move this way on the arc. They're already over the top. So for a lot of them, if they start to rotate, they're just going to go more over the top. Like, great, you're trying to do the thing that's causing you to do the thing you don't like. You're good. Stand up. Does that make sense? Yeah. So now we have to sit here and go, all right, what do we do? So we know this is right. Well, this is, okay, well, I could get him to go more. Well, crap, that's going to make him go more to the right. shoot, how do I fix the fat shot? Because I have to fix the fat shot without it going right. If he had said left was his bigger concern, then we could go with the option of just keeping the head more forward. Now what happens if I keep his right foot and right leg on the ground longer? If that foot were to stay back here, would that knee move that way more or less? Less. Which means we would be more moving this way. His weight's not back, his pelvis is forward. Now the chest is trying to offset this. So if I fix the foot, hold the foot down, don't let the foot move, then the chest can move forward some, but what else is going to happen? This goes right? If I don't let this move, this doesn't go that way as much. It goes more this way. So now just by holding the right foot, I should be able to get a club path that works less to the right, and I should move the low point more forward because now I can move the chest forward. So I would hold the foot forward or hold the foot down and try to move the chest forward. But I'd start with not letting the knee bend, okay? So if I let the knee bend, going back, I can get the club more back here. If I were to keep that knee straighter, can I go back this way? I can go this way from here, right? Which is which direction? So if I keep this knee bent and take it back this way, now I'm going to go this way. Which do you think is easier to fix? Trying to keep his foot down going forward or trying to keep the knee bent going back? You think the foot down's easier?
Probably. For how my brain works.
Okay. Which habit is, do you think it's easier to fix something that's moving slow or fix something that's moving fast? Fix something that's moving slow, right? Which is moving slower, backswing or forward swing? Backswing. So in this case, let's try keeping the knee bent first because I also don't like how that shallows the shaft too much. So I'm going to keep the knee bent. Like literally, you're going to feel like you're squatting with that knee. That's how bent it'll feel. And let's see what happens. Zach, can you film down the line here for me one more time? And then let's just see. I'll let Erica run the system. Is this style helpful to you? Like in terms of like processing everything? Ball, club, you, options, which options best and fastest? Because that's the part, like I do that in 8 seconds. I got to get you all to do that faster. All right.
This better not be choke. After all of that, this better not be a bad shot.
And the more that knee bends, the less the weight can go that way.
That's left, that's for sure.
Okay. So I'm okay with left. Now the club path is still to the right. Look at our impact. That's the first one that's not on the toe, right? So think about this. So this is a piece we didn't add in there. When this knee goes like this, does that move the low point further from the golf ball or closer? Or further from the target line or closer? Further, right? So by keeping this bent, I also keep the shaft out on the target line longer, taking it off the toe. I mean, that was dead center. You changed it 2 centimeters, which is a lot in golf, right? Do it again. And we didn't hit it fat. We actually hit it a little thin. Do it again. Hold that knee super steady. Keep the chest a little more forward.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 10 deep.
Okay. Now the club face is more closed than I would like. That's just going to be a little change in pressure in his hands, and I'm going to be done.
Cool.
Does this make sense to me? 2 more. Hold that knee. Don't let it move. Did you get that? Okay. Little heavy. Still on the toe. So now we've exposed how your hands work. Okay. You can't get away with it now, right? So then this would allow me to go ahead and fix that. So when I was a young teacher, though, when I was first teaching, this would freak me out. I'm like, oh my gosh, now we're going way left. You're okay with left. It's easier for you to find it from here. Do one more. Now I want you to feel a cut with your hands. Actually, I just want you to try to hit it low with your hands. Hold the knee and hit it low with your hands. Do one more. Come on, you did great on the first one. Now the pressure's on. Hold that knee. Don't let it move. So we're better, but we haven't hit anything to the right.
Yeah.
And we're much more center.
Definitely.
Not all the way there, but that leads us in the right direction. So then we've got to feel how to hit a cut with your hands. So we're going to change that release pattern a little bit. Cool? All right, who's next?
I'll go next.
All right.
Is that 5 shots?
To me, 5 shots is fine, yeah.
I don't use my 8, so.
It's fine. I'm going to change the yardage just so it'll give us a new pattern. All right. Awesome. Good first one. Did you get that one, Zach? Let's go. All right, so before he hits another one, even without the golf club in there, what kind of shot did he hit? A top, all right? Where is our low point when somebody tops it? Maybe, can't quite assume that yet. It's above the ground, right? So like something has moved it above the ground. People be like, keep your head down. Well, y'all, that's what everybody says. It can't possibly always be the answer. By the way, it's almost never the answer. Okay? So that's the default. You just gotta keep your head down. This head was down the whole time. Good, all right, we got the same problem. You've topped 2, now you're nervous, aren't you?
Right, yeah.
This is good. Now, I love nerves in a lesson because it reveals dominant habits. It's great. And sometimes it's worse. Ooh, man, look at that puppy. All right, so now we finally have some TrackMan data here. All right. We hit that ball 32 degrees, or 32 millimeters on the heel. That's 3 centimeters. That's that, okay? Almost missed the golf club. All right, the club path is 7 degrees to the left, which is a lot. Ball's hit low-ish on the face, not crazy, but the club face is open 27 degrees. So that club face is literally looking that far to the right.
Lock in.
I got locked
Okay?
in.
Don't try to change anything, just swing it. Hit me 2 more. What are y'all thinking? You got it? Oh, thanks. Which variables do you want to fix first? Setup?
I don't like it.
What about it? Okay. Okay. Oh, come on, give me club
Bad, I
data.
didn't check the data.
It's okay.
That's crazy.
All right, so that club face is really open.
Yeah.
All right. So, as a general pattern, we've got a club face that's where? Face angle, which is where? To the right. We got a path that's where? I hate that phrase, by the way. Over the top. It's okay. So one of the things that I try to get all of my teachers to do and to get my students to do is to don't use the generic lingo that people use. Over the top of what? Where, when, why, how? Under, if we do under, like he's hitting it to the right, if we do under the way he does it, he's just more right, right? So like, you can't just have him not swing over the top and how his brain would translate that. I could get him to not swing it over the top and get the club face to turn to the left fairly quick. Now, both of them don't like something in his setup. We'll get there. We got to go through the ball first. So we're hit on the heel, okay? So let's follow their, we're going to come at it from both ends this time. So they're both going, I don't like his setup, okay? He's hitting it on the heel. What's something you might consider in a setup component? Back up farther away. All right. Now, what else did you all want? All right, so he's too upright, which would be an indicator that he's where? They said, yeah, so you're too close, so we're going to stand more up. That's your brain trying to get the ball off the heel, doing it the wrong way, right? So we're going to back you up, which is also going to do what? Bend you over more, okay? All right, let's see. All right, come on in here. Y'all take a look at this. So I don't have to have lines on a screen to do this. We're just going to put you right there where all we see is where your hands are from where they start. All right? So if we look at this right now, where's the ball in relationship to the club face?
To the left of it.
Closer to the heel.
Slightly heel, but mostly center, right? So it's a little bit biased in terms of what you see. I'm looking down here at the bottom, not at the high toe. Yeah. So that's going to look, because the angle, right, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, this line is longer than this one. So I'm looking at this one down here, okay? So that's what Erica's looking at. It's in the center, pretty close. It might be 4 or 5 millimeters heel side, but that's okay. So now that I have that, I'm going to put his hands on the edge of the screen, okay? You tell me when he first hits his shank. Why would I say that's it? So he starts here, and then when does he hit his shank?
There.
Right there. Why?
Gets him closer.
Well, he moves. Hands move closer to chest. Weight goes towards the balls of the feet. And whoop. Athlete's trying to figure out how to hit it. It knows I'm too upright, so I'm going to go ahead and get into a better position. So you already shanked it. So one of the other approaches that we can go is, when is the swing first break? Let's fix that. So fix setup, then fix takeaway. And we could stop there. Now, to validate that and to prove that, so this is like a low pressure situation. So we can try anything that any of you suggest to see if it works. Now, when they're coming in and paying us money to fix their golf swing, if we pick the wrong thing and they hit it worse, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. It could move us in the direction we want to go, and then we fix one more thing. But like, we don't have much time to get buy-in out of them. I tell most, I think it's roughly, we got about 15, 20 minutes max. If we don't have it fixed in 20 minutes, or at least moving in a positive direction, you probably have lost a student. So, which is why it's such a pressure deal. Juniors a little easier, beginners are a little easier because they'll blame themselves. So the first thing I'm going to do is, hey, let's go ahead and just try to fix that. Let's back you up, and then let's make sure your hands don't move away from you to start. And let's just see what happens. Can you bring your tempo down just a little bit for me and just smooth it out a little bit? Okay. Now, swinging slower doesn't inherently fix the golf swing. It just makes it a little bit easier to do a new movement, okay? So slowing down won't fix your golf swing by itself. So let's see if y'all are right.
So you said not to shift.
Y'all tell me when he's as far away as you would like.
She said not to keep my hands too.
I'll show you here in just a second.
Did you just hit it?
So set up to it. Don't hit it yet.
Like that?
Is that far away enough? I don't care. You can make him keep going.
So
back up. You all go with that? Okay, and Erica wants the stance wider. So widen which foot? You can come over here if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, front foot out, forward. Okay, good. Now that puts the ball more in the middle of his stance. Okay? All right, now go ahead and step up to the golf ball.
In the middle?
Right, for right now, it's a good starting point, so stay with that. So when you all ask questions, try to avoid asking always questions. Always or never questions. Nothing is ever always or never. Okay? So go ahead and set up there. You're good there. All right, now, his hands move which way as he starts the club back? Towards me, right? So I'm going to put this noodle in the way. So if his hands start towards me, he hits this noodle. If you hit the noodle, start over, okay? So if you don't hit the noodle, I'll move this out of the way when you swing forward. I'm just going to put these in there. Go ahead and set up. So I'm going to put this right here. So don't hit the noodle with your hands at all. Yep. And then I'll move it out of the way when you swing forward. Don't hit the noodle. If you hit the noodle, start over. Okay, go again. I was in the way of TrackMan. Sorry. That helps.
Is that far enough?
Wider with that front foot. I'm going to put you where Erica wanted you. Go wider with the front. Good. All right. Don't hit this noodle.
Still kind of to the right.
Okay, we're still to the right. Hey, look at this golf ball. Where was that hit? Toe and up in the face. All right. So just those two segments got that piece fixed. All right. Let's go again. Keep it a little smoother for me. Sorry, I interrupted TrackMan again. I went the wrong direction. That's my fault. Boo. Was that hit more solid? Agreed. I make one other suggestion. I want your knees a little more bent at address too.
So, like
Just bend your knees down more. More? Yeah, there you go. Good. All right, so good ball to good ball. Good shot to good shot. We've picked up 15 yards. Ball still to the right, correct?
Yeah.
You good with that? Now, you're already going, but it's still to the right, it's still to the right. Be okay with moving in the right direction. Now, this is where I'll tell them when they're stuck sometimes. I'm like, you've got them on the right thing, just hold them there. Like, they're going to want to leave and go, well, what about this, right? So it could be like a fish that's on a hook. It's like, you got them on the hook. You got to keep them on the hook. They'll drop your lure, and they'll go and grab some other thing that they want to eat and chew on. Don't let them chew on that. You've got the hook. Keep the tension on the line. Like, either take the thing that they're asking about and blame it on the thing you're already working on, and you can BS that. I know I'm saying that to a camera, right? Like, I will flat out lie to people in order to get them to do the thing I need them to do because their mind is just all over the place. I need it to be right here. So if I have to kind of make up something that sounds smart to keep them here, I will. So be mindful of that. Sometimes I will lie to you all. Okay. I won't lie to you about things that matter. I will lie to you about, yeah. So we got the distance away from the golf ball, just missed this. Now, right, so sometimes I can start fixing something too soon, like y'all be like, oh, but what about that one? I'm like, just hang on, the golf swing's getting better. If I let it get better, what if I don't have to tell them how to fix it to the right? Would that be better? You want to have more things to think about. You would want to have less to think about, right? Like, can you imagine going out and playing like, all right, all I got to do is just stand further away from the golf ball, widen my stance with my front foot so the ball's in the front, bend my knees more, and just swing. You just have to miss this to start. Like, once you do that, you can just forget it. All right? Go again. We're having some fun with this one. That's okay, but we're better now. You have to do the same setup, and you have to miss this in the takeaway. But I want you to make the next ball go to the left.
Okay.
Yep. Same thing. Okay, now. All right, now this is the simple stuff. So come in here real quick. Go ahead and set up. Now, in order to make the golf ball go to the left, where does the club face have to point? That way. Okay, now go ahead and take your grip. Take a normal grip with the club face square. Now, keep the club behind the ball, and keep your grip the same, but make the golf club look to the left. Do that again. Yeah. Do it again. Start back over. Twist it left. Do it again. Keep doing it. To the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. All right. Now you've got to do that movement as the club is coming down into the golf ball. And then you got to keep it doing it after impact. Okay? I didn't tell you how to do it. You did it. You're a smart guy. We're going to keep it real simple. So you have to miss this and your setup's good. All right? It's okay. You almost missed that golf ball. Try it again. Club face is still looking to the right. Make sure those knees are more bent. Hey!
Yeah.
Hey!
Let's go.
Now, his carry number just went up 30 yards. Okay? Now, the younger you are in your teaching years, the more you do the fixing, the longer you teach, the more you try to get them to do the fixing. Now, we force the setup, but then I just asked you to put the club behind the golf ball and make the club face look to the left. I let you do that in your own unique way. I didn't care how. So, especially since you're so new and your technique is just kind of sloppy, I don't want to overcomplicate things for you right now and make you have to think about, my elbow's got to be here, I got to do this. Like, hey, I just need to be here, a little farther away with the ball in the center, and then make my hands go in, and then I got one thing going forward. All right, now I'm going to take away the training aid and let you hit one more, and then whoever's next can hop up.
Oh, yeah, I'm next. Diego!
All right.
Let's go.
Is it as good as it can be? No. It's way better, right?
Yeah.
And the lesson's over in 10 minutes, right? So now, here's the trap, right? What's the potential problem? They both immediately went to, I don't like the setup because it looks bad. Was it wrong for them to fix the setup? No. What's the problem, though? What was the process of the deduction? For them to be that quick to set up? Well, it's going through all the pieces to get there, right? And then also going, when I back them up and bend them over and do that, that's going to make the club do this, and this. We got to make those leaps. Because the farther we stand him away, that also will let the club face close some. The closer you are, the more it opens it. But those are things you learn through years of teaching. Farther away tends to make it go left, closer in makes it go right. So that's a good move. Got to give me the why. Can't give me the why and it worked, then you're like, you'll see somebody else that's close to it and stand them farther away, but they're already hooking it from here, and so they hook it more. So just because they're close doesn't mean that that's the problem. So my only critique of the two of them there is be careful that you don't jump to something that just looks bad. There's some golf swings on tour, there's certain things that look terrible. Most of their setups look good, but like there's a lot of things that look bad. Does that make sense? All right, who's next? Good job.
I knew that was coming too, the quickness of the
Good.
answer.
Yeah, you're like, crap, we answered too fast.
I mean, I wouldn't say I mean, yes, obviously it looks bad, but I wouldn't say that's why. I mean, I feel like I don't usually gravitate towards setup first.
Yeah, so, but did you make all the deductions on what that setup was going to get the ball to do?
I wouldn't say necessarily the ball, but more the club. Like he was too this way, and all that, like backing him up. Wouldn't move the ball from being on the field.
Farther away wouldn't necessarily make him more this way. It wouldn't hurt, but it wouldn't make him more that way. It would get it off the heel. So, because of how his hands are. So his hands, if we didn't fix this, he would have gone out again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we put back him up and relax, it would be that easier than doing this.
Correct, but it doesn't make him do it. So, does that make sense or no?
Was that on video? Yep, got that one. Why?
So the ball's hit super on the heel. Go again.
Just showing you what not to do. Oh my gosh.
All right.
Shows twice. I think it might be the ball.
Good try. Now, so if I go, okay, that one was a better golf swing.
Yep.
Okay, now
I don't know what happened to you.
our contact is slightly heel biased. How many shots have you hit? 3?
4.
4. All right, so our club path is going which direction? To the right. Okay, set to the golf ball. Now, when the club is traveling to the right, so we're going to exaggerate it, if that club's traveling to the right, is the heel moving towards the golf ball or away? Towards. If I'm moving this way, is the heel moving towards the golf ball or away? Okay, so the more I swing to the right, the more of a heel strike I'm going to present. Now, the main, at least in here right now, the main error is we got a big shank, so we got to get off the heel. So when you're swinging back, when you swing down, that club can't loop under and go that way. It's got to come down and across your body to the left. Now, he also has a ball position that's pretty far back, which also presents more in to out. Sound familiar up there?
It is.
Right? Ball more forward.
Oh, it's so right.
Still on the heel, still swung to the right.
Yeah.
Now, swing really slow for me one time. I want you to stop at the top and don't let yourself go this way. Let yourself go across the ball that way.
Is that what you wanted me to do?
Let's see. No, you swung more to the right. You doubled your path to the right. Go ahead and sit back up there. You got that? Thanks. So when you swing down, it's got to go this way.
Okay.
Just hit a little shot like that. Okay, great. All right, now, if you want to play a draw, this needs to be slightly positive, and this needs to be less positive than that is. We hit a draw, but it started left and turned left. So as you're hitting golf balls, you can manage how much of that you do by using these variables. So I felt like I did it, but you didn't. You have class? You just have privates? Who do you have?
Calvin and Eric.
He had a birthday, I think. Calvin?
Yeah, I think it's Calvin.
I saw Dad post about it. Yeah.
I know.
So that's 6.5 to the right. That's not bad. It's pretty good.
It's
Just
still coming in here though, right?
too much. Yeah. If you need anything, holler at me. I'll come help. I got nothing else to do. So he hit on the heel. Now, you were able to not hit it on the heel without standing further away. So don't let your hands get on the golf ball, just let them work this way. Let them pull close to you and go left. Ball more forward. Move the ball more forward in your stance. There you go. Look at that club path. It got worse. Don't do that. That was better. Does this make sense? So yours is all forward swing oriented in some setup. You got this big loop that you got to get out of there.
Same with my driver. That's what we're working on.
Right. That's why I said your swings look identical.
And I was like, no, they don't. He knew it.
We're creatures of habit. Good. So, as a general rule, regardless of whether you want to play a fade or a draw, so if you want to play a fade, you want this number to live between -3 and -5. If you want to play a draw, you want to live between +3 and +5. We want this number to be less in the same direction that this number is. So if this is -5, I'd want this to be less than 5, but negative, because that's going to fade. If you want to be a draw, I want this to be positive, but I want this to be less than that, but still positive. So if you're going to hit balls in here, driver, I can let this slide to 6 or 7. Wedges, this could come down to 3. So that's kind of your parameters when you're hitting balls in a space like this. You're going to learn how to manage your edges. You can't just rely on your feel or just I tried to. It's like, did I actually or did I not? And you being a little slower, dude, being a little slower, you're not hitting it any shorter. You going smoother actually hits it just as far because it gets hit in the middle, and you're able to control where the club's going.
Yeah. Which is what I want.
Good. All right, who's next?
You have to go.
Thanks for letting us do that.
No, thank you guys.
Good.
That's free lesson.
Yeah. Well,
Anytime you need to train this, yeah, I'll be a guinea pig for you.
so giving y'all a chance to see kind of behind the scenes a little bit, I think is kind of neat too.
One of the first lessons that we did, it was next down the back foot. Now I understand why.
Right.
Because at that point, it's like, all right, yep, whatever.
Right. Now you understand why. Right. And that's everything. Now,
You don't have to.
because you're such an athlete, right, the way I taught you before, it's important for you to understand the numbers, but I want you to just be an athlete and figure out how to change it, right? This is like hitting to certain parts of the field, right? Like being a fairly high-level baseball player, I understand enough about baseball, like you guys can bias where your hits go. I can be early on it and hit it to right. I can be late on it and hit it to left. You can kind of get good at least biasing the halves. You can do the same thing here. So that ball started left, curved left. So I haven't given this to everybody yet, but the golf ball will start about 65 to 70% in the direction that the club face is looking. So remember these two numbers, club path and club face, not face to path, but path and face are all relative to your straight center line. So the club path was 2 degrees to the right, 2.2. The club face was identical to that, but to the left. So that ball's going to start closer to the club face. I love when this happens up here because it's literally plus or minus. It's like, all right, which side is it going to start closer to? Left, right? And so we see that ball start fractionally left of your target, right? And then it should curve left of that because that face to path number is 4.5. I love seeing face to path half of this. So again, I would like this to be positive, but between 0 and 2.2. So this is just managing the face a little bit with your hands. So love the path. You just need to manage this a little bit. Be an athlete. Your low point's fine. You're slightly on the toe. That's just, dude, hit it in the center of the bat. Don't hit it on the end of the bat. Get the barrel of the bat on the ball. So barrel on the ball, and let's try to manage this number. Keep it positive, but between 0 and whatever this number is. Remember, this can be between 3 and 5. As a general rule. Nothing's between, right. So as long as it doesn't exceed this, we're doing better. This is fine, but that's 13 yards of curve. I mean, that's 40 feet. You miss your intended target. So it looks pretty, looks nice. And if you happen to aim a little right on accident, it probably works out great. But if you aim at a center pin, it's off the green to the left. And you got plenty of speed. You're 165 with an 8-iron. So keep going. Somebody like you, I don't want to show you much video. I just want you to know how to control the numbers and be an athlete, figure it out. If you get totally stuck, I'll give you something, but just fix the numbers.
So that was worse because.
Right. So the smaller this club path number gets, the smaller that club face angle has to get. So in face to path, remember this number controls the amount of curve. So the last one was 4.5 negative, so it curved 13 yards. This one curved 15. So, but this is good. So, and that's basically, if you average the two, those two shots were dead center of the face, if you average the two. So just monitor that.
Okay.
Right.
So just do that by.
Just feel it.
Winning the club face?
Yeah, just let it be a little open. The more athletic, the more sports, striking sports a player has played, tennis, pickleball, lacrosse isn't really a striking sport. Field hockey a little bit, hockey for sure. When I say tennis, and baseball or softball. Like cricket's a little. You can do a little cricket, but the overall cricket motion doesn't really match well. So the more athletic they are, the more I can teach you like this. Like less, where exactly do I need to be? More just, hey man, we need to focus on this piece, just chase that for a little bit. And then if you need refinements, I'll give you refinements. But you're used to reacting to a ball coming flying at you at 80 miles an hour plus. Much better, right? So the face angle number is positive, but less than the club path. So as long as we're between 0 and 2.5, we're great. And 7 yards of curve, I'll take that all day.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Keep doing that.
Sounds good.
Do 2 or 3 more. Yeah. I think we found the face. Now, this is a fun one. This is great. This is less right than that. The ball should draw, but it faded. 2 yards of curve to the right. That's because the ball was hitting the heel. A ball that's hit in the heel, my best description of this is understanding when a ball's hitting a heel. We talk about gear effect, and I can explain it in gear effect terms, but in layman's terms, which I prefer, is a ball that anytime a ball doesn't get hit in the center, it's essentially going to try to move towards the center. So like you think about a drive that you hit that kind of starts low and spins up, like that ball's got a lot of spin on it. That's typically hit low in the face, so it's going to try to move to the center, which adds whatever spin it would already have, it adds more spin. When it hits higher in the face, it's trying to go down. Nobody hits top spin with a driver, but it's trying to move towards the center, so it spins less, so you see that ball start up and just kind of go flat. Toe strikes move towards the center, which hit a draw. Heel strikes move towards the center, which would hit a fade. So, does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So it's just moving in those patterns. The club path and club face angles would tell us that ball should have flown with a little draw. Start right, which it did, and curve left. but it didn't because of the heel strike, and it moved it towards the center. And so that ball curved to the right. So especially where you're at right now, I would go Dr. Scholl's foot spray. I would go club face tape on the face frequently. That way, you're not changing this on accident. Like if you see a ball fly pretty straight, but it kind of leaks a little right, and you've got club face on, you look down, it's in the center, then you know the club face was to the right of the club path. But if you look down and that ball had that little tail and it got hit slightly on the heel, then you know what made it do that was because it got hit slightly on the heel. So you don't want to change, right? So the golf ball will never lie to you, but it might hide. So it's going to hide when it gets hit slightly in the heel, even though you've got a draw pattern, right? And so if you start trying to fix the club face, when the club face wasn't the problem, just find the center of the face, then you start fixing something that wasn't real. And so then your next ball, it's like, okay, then I fixed my club face and I hit that big hook to the left. I'm like, what? But the ball went to the right. Like, I didn't change it that much. You just hit it in the center of the face, and you closed the face, and the ball went left. But all you need to do is hit that next ball in the center, and it would have been that nice little soft 2-yard draw. That make sense?
So it's like it almost canceled out on this one.
Correct. Right. Just got a little bit. I mean, 2 yards of curve probably is just going to look like a straight ball live. It's probably not going to look like much curve, but it can be helpful to see it and know that that started right, largely because it was hitting the heel, and it just kind of stayed over there. It didn't come back because it wasn't hitting the center. So use club face tape. It's cheap online. Dr. Scholl's foot spray works great. Foot spray doesn't work well when it's raining or when the golf balls in the morning early are wet, or they're just out of the machine, they're wet, because as soon as you hit one on there, that water just washes it all off. So golf balls are dry, club face tape's great. If golf ball's wet, go with the face tape, not the spray. Hit one more. Do you want in? We'll do this again. We'll do this a couple times this winter. We'll get your whole team in here and we'll have some fun with it. Now remember, the closer this gets to 0, the smaller this number has, this gets harder to control. So you got this too far negative, watch that path doesn't get too far to the left. And that ball was hit 4 millimeters on the heel. That's not really going to do much. You're not going to be able to tell 4 millimeters on there. Not right now, you won't.
Is that because it was on the toe? That's why.
Part of it, but this is negative. So this would have to be between 0 and 0.2. So let that club path work a little more right field and see if that doesn't tighten it up. So it's just got to get started that way just a touch. And that ball is hitting the toe. You need some work on just trying to find the center of the face. That's going to go a long way for you. That ball's got no curve on it because everything's basically, That's fun.
Yeah.
Those work too, by the way.
Yeah, I'll take that.
They're hard to hit on purpose, but those balls that fly that straight and go straight are fun. So, very good. You bet. My pleasure.